FAMCare's new reporting engine is multi-dynamic and covers several important tools. The biggest thing to remember is that it's directly tied to the form building tools. So in FAMCare, when you build a new query, you're going to pick the table where the data exists, and then you're going to have a whole slew of tables to choose from. Every table matches a form. When you create a new form in FAMCare and you publish that form, a corresponding reporting table is generated. So to start building a report right now, when you start the query generator, you are starting with the client table to bring in most of the fields that you need from a demographic perspective. So if I wanted to start building my report right now, very simply, I can choose the client number, I can choose last name, first name, I can choose gender text, I can choose sexual orientation text, I can choose race ethnicity text. And the idea behind all of these fields, I didn't click race ethnicity, and texting, is that one field could be the text label, the other could be the database label. You know, different ethnicities could have different codes. So we've got 4 fields in our report so far. That's what we're doing. Now, let's say we want to join in another table. Well, we can pick the referral table very easily and join that in. What happens here is client closes, referral opens. If I want to see client again, I can go to it. But now I've got the referral table. What's important to bring in? Maybe I want to know the referral source. So let's add that. Maybe I want to know, possibly the reason for referral. And maybe the decision date. Let's leave it at that. So those are my other fields. Now let's say we gave them a questionnaire or an assessment and we want to bring in the score. So the idea is I can bring in the ACE questionnaire. ACE opens and I'll say bring in the date of the assessment and the ACE total score. So now we've got our report built. I can go ahead and build my query. It's generated, the SQL statement gets generated, and I can go ahead and change some of the headers here. If I don't like this text at the end, I can get rid of that on every one of these for my spreadsheet that I'm actually generating here, my report table. So at the end of the day, let's say we get rid of 2 of those, leave the rest on, and we go ahead and we want to run the query. Before I do that, you noticed I can export this to CSV. I could also save the query. Give it a name, put it in my query table, have a list, have a reporting table list, summation or summary of all the reports I have. I could add it there as well. But for now, I'm just going to run it to see what it looks like. When I run it, it shows up right on the screen. Here's my report. But let's look at something else with that report. Let's look at it as a pivot table. Now I've got the report built with certain fields on the left. I can go ahead and bring in race ethnicity to see my breakdown. What this is telling me is my breakdown of all of my clients that I have in the system. As well as I can go ahead and start eliminating some of the blanks, or I can focus on the blanks. Either way, I can select none and focus just on the blanks, drag in a client number, and see where the blank data is. Very simply. That's one thing I can do, but I don't have to focus on the blanks. I could actually look at all, take out the blanks and just look at the data as exists, move the client number out, drag in a bar chart. And now I've got a bar chart of the data pretty well represented as to what I have in my system. I could also look at this as a pie chart. I could drag in another factor and break this up by gender and ethnicity by doing this. Now I have a female pie chart and a male pie chart. I can switch these around and say that for every ethnicity, I can see the gender breakdown. These are all possible with FAMCare. I can save these pivot tables. I could download them into a PDF. And in a next iteration coming soon is FAMCare dashboards, where every image I bring or every frame I bring or every visual I bring, let's just say I want a table here and I don't need the ethnicity. Let's say that we're going to go ahead and unfilter this, apply, and take it off. Well, now I've got my gender breakdown. What if I want to start to do some statistical analysis? I can see the breakdown that way. I go back to the system and I go back to our outcomes list, every report you save, you can save it into this menu. And every section here has different reports. So the way you would save it is you'd basically put an enrollment tag in front of the report when you save it, and it would correlate it to this section. And it would bring all of those reports in that you save here. So this would be your reporting menu. And then, as I mentioned, a future iteration, you will have a FAMCare dashboard where you can create your own graphics on a dashboard. And that dashboard could be segregated down to a secured level based on your group or your security group that you're in. So there may be certain reports you're not entitled to, is basically it. The other option and very advanced reporting is our Power BI engine. And our Power BI module comes out of the box with 6 views, 6 reports already included, and different views accordingly. So when your data comes up, you're able to kind of basically set your date thresholds, see your data. You can see what's going on at your agency by active clients, by program, where they are in a map, new enrollments, and seeing where they're coming from, what programs are most popular. All of that's here, as well as services and how clients are being served in different zip codes per different programs, services that are being provided. You can see all that here timing-wise, all measured from case notes as well as other items. You have agency stats, you have clients discharge, you have FAMCare utilization. All this is part of it. Additional dashboards that we can bring in are serious incidents. If you have a facility, we could be bringing in incident reports for you to kind of see what instances are occurring and how often. We have treatment plans or goals management where you can see goal progression on an individual basis and see where people are and see how they're making progress, etc., and so forth. You also have safety alerts. In the system, there are safety alerts that you can set. And those safety alerts are triggered off data points. When you build a form or you edit a form, you can make a certain data point a safety alert. When it is answered a certain way, it will trigger a safety alert notification for your team to know that there's something up with this person and that it may be part of the consideration for when you develop a plan. So all that to say, safety alerts are really important, and we have an assessment board, which we're bringing additional assessments as over time, but you can see the measurement of assessments and different assessments on a matrix. And all that's possible with our Power BI plugin. So that's the reporting that is in FAMCare. Now, if you're an advanced SQL person and you know SQL, well, that's a whole different story, because now you've got access to our advanced SQL tools. And we're giving you shortcuts in our editor. We're giving you query prompts, all here, ready to go. We're giving you queries, all of them. You can pick any one and basically see the statement that was delivered. You want to go ahead and update that statement, go ahead. You don't know what to put in, check out the data dictionary, go to any form and bring in the data point. There are processing rules you can put on this. You can set them as defined reports that will process at a certain period of time. All that's part of the editor, and if you're trained on the advanced level, you'd be able to go ahead and use your SQL skills to write queries on the FAMCare data. So that's the reporting tools within FAMCare.